We all love brand Jamaica, but every once in a while we want to mix that up with things made elsewhere. None of us wants to deal with the long hours, and that can come with receiving these items from the wharfs. So government continues to take action to cut the waiting time. In today's show, an in-depth interview with the Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Customs Agency, Major Richard Reese. Plus,
tomorrow, approximately 1,000 public schools at the infant, primary, and secondary levels will open their doors to welcome almost 500,000 students.
The Education Minister has a message for our nation's teachers, students, and parents. Hello, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. Please stay with us.
In order to facilitate the smooth delivery of its services, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency has formulated a Citizens Charter. It's our commitment to providing you, our valued customers, with quality service. In the Charter, we have given the assurance to process compliant applications for passports within 7 days at our head office or 11 to 20 working days at other locations. We also offer expedited service. It is also our promise to process airport passengers within 3 minutes of arrival at the immigration desk. At PICA, compliant applications for citizenship by descent will be processed within 30 days, while other categories will be processed within 24 to 30 months.
Because you see, at PICA, you matter.
The passport.
Have a good day. Immigration
and Citizenship Agency.
Securing our borders.
Safeguarding our sovereignty.
When's the last time you had to go to the wharf? Talk the truth, it's not much easier down there. Well, much more is being done to modernize the customs process, including a system that allows you to track your shipment online. Head of the Jamaica Customs Agency, Major Richard Reese, discusses the recently implemented automated system for customs data. He's next with Ian Boyne.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Today we speak to Major Richard Reese, who is Commissioner of the Jamaica Customs Agency. The Jamaica Customs Agency has had a revolution in technology, many changes which have resulted in greater efficiencies and greater customer service. Major will tell us about them. We thank you so much for your company. Major, good to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure.
This ASYCUDA system, you have to break that down to us, but this has enabled customs to realize a number of efficiencies, has made customers' interaction with customs a much more pleasant experience. Explain the whole rationale behind the adoption of the ASYCUDA system.
Yes, in 2012, a determination was made that there was need for an integrated customs system. Customs operates approximately 21 different databases, and these databases were not all connected. So to access information or to process information on applications, there was a disconnect in a number of areas. We determined also that we needed to acquire a system very quickly, and looking at the whole government procurement process, funding, etc., we sought the assistance in funding through the IDB. And a decision was made to acquire ASYCUDA World. It's a customs automated system operating in approximately 85 countries worldwide, with a significant number in the English-speaking Caribbean. This system allows for electronic declarations, whether for export, import, or transshipment. So just by eliminating the paper, all these entries that the importers or exporters or brokers have to use, we estimate that alone will save $537 million.
That alone?
Yes, that alone.
537
Because remember,
million?
you're dealing with a carbonized document
Yes.
with several copies. In addition to that, it's a whole business of physically going to lodge your entries, the whole business of going to the port,
But it saves time.
the manifesting,
Yes.
etc., the tallying of cargo when it comes on the port, etc. So we decided to implement ASYCUDA in 2014, and we made some legislative changes to accommodate it. The export module has been launched, and all exports from Jamaica have to be done electronically. All the documentation that is required is also scanned and uploaded, and we partnered with JAMPRO, the trade board, and the export centers to have equipment and scanners available so that persons can do their transactions there. The bonded couriers, such as a DHL, a FedEx, a Mailpack, etc., all of them are currently using the export module. Large exporters, small ground provision exporters, major manufacturers such as a National Baking Company, a Red Stripe, etc. All of those are now doing those declarations. So the import module has been piloted. We started with Petrojam, which is our #1 customer, and we also started receiving electronic manifests from the shipping companies or shipping lines. The current phase that we are at now is we have engaged a select number of private bonded warehouse keepers. These are persons who are in the used car or new car dealership, persons involved in general merchandise. So once that era is piloted, we'll then go to the other bonded warehouses. We have just under 300, and we'll also do free zones and the various transit sheds at the ports. Then we'll go to Montego Bay, then we'll go to the airports in terms of importation.
So over what period do you project you will cover these areas?
The project ends, that implementation ends in March 2016, but we expect to complete the import module by December 2015
This year.
of this year. And so far,
You're on target.
the team is well, and we are ahead of target.
Major Richard Reese, who is Commissioner of the Jamaica Customs Agency, talking to us about the implementation of an electronic system which has resulted in significant improvements in efficiency and better customer service. You tell us more when we come back from our short break.
Nobody want to plant the can. Everybody want to read the band. Who you are go blame it on when it's a next man you are deep in pan. Well, you're wrong.
Farmers, let us be serious about predial larceny. It is affecting all of us. If you are aware of incidents of predial larceny, make contact with your local police station or call Crime Stop at 311. Predial larceny is everybody's business.
Me want to take it all. No mind if me stall. Them no business if me back against the wall. This a living sometime making me ball. Seems like there ain't no love.
Commissioner Richard Reese of the Jamaica Customs Agency is our guest on Issues and Answers, talking about the improvements in efficiency and how much easier it is now to deal with customs. Some of the features of this system, Major.
Yes, some of the key features, if we look at entry processing, all of that will be electronically processed. The system will look for any variations in terms of, let's say, value. So all of these exceptions will be entered in the system. So if you have a motor vehicle from a particular destination, it is expected to have a particular price range. If it falls out of that range, the system will flag.
Pick it up.
If you have commodities, you have to enter each commodity. If there's a variation in weight between the commodities or group of commodities and the shipping documents, the system will flag. Once those entries are flagged, it is then automatically directed to a specific officer for checking, and the officer would then now be required to have the importer or the broker bring in additional original documents and do further verification checks. So you will have importers who will under invoice,
Yes.
they will amend the freight, description, etc. And once you breach, or once you have detected a breach, it automatically filters that information into a breach database. Now we have established one in the interim, so that once that system comes on stream, we can populate it with some historical data.
So you can know who
But
the repeat
you can do
offenders
the
are.
repeat offenders are, the type of products, where the items were cleared, who cleared them, etc. But with ASYCUDA, the accountability comes with the individuals who process that shipment, whether by documentary review or actual inspection or release, having to put their credentials on the system, and you have that track and trace capability.
So this can be a significant break to corruption.
Yes, and in terms of revenue loss, we expect to gain 10 to 20% more revenue
Through this
through
ASYCUDA
the system. Trinidad, when they implemented it, experienced 30% more revenue, but one has to bear in mind that they did not have any form of automated system prior to implementing ASYCUDA. It also aids post-audit. So if you post-audit a company and the customs laws make provision for that, you can now look at variations. So the post-auditor now will have access to the system, and the system has all the various supporting documents related to that shipment. So when they go in and do their physical verification, they might just be looking at payment verification, bank information, etc. So there are a number of features and controls and management reports. From the statistical side, we were always challenged in providing accurate information to Statin. And I was literally hammered by successive heads of Statin.
Yes.
And I assured them that once this system came into
You have to
effect,
give
they would
better
no
data.
longer have to pay to re-enter data and analyze data. So the export data, they advise that there's an improvement or an increase in exports. But I have caution to say, let us
Just
look
better
at the
data.
data. You're beginning to see everything. So we expect that we'll do some month-on-month analyses going forward. And similarly, with the import data, that information will be readily available. Individuals wishing to invest in a business, they might need trade data, which is not proprietary. That information can be provided. The Ministry of Finance will have immediate access to the revenue figures. All our revenue information will be uploaded to our accounting system. And in terms of tax policy, where it takes us a significant amount of time to determine the effect when we amend duties, that information is available to the tax policy division of the Ministry of Finance. So you get a sort of 360-degree perspective or dashboard. And I mean, we have reduced duties, but it took us a bit of time to provide the data to inform the decision. But we work very closely with the trade associations, the automobile dealers associations, the Jamaica Used Car Dealers Association, the GMA, etc. So when you are making policy decisions too, this can inform policy. Yes.
So the ASYCUDA system accomplishes a number of things through this one process.
Yes.
It's really a virtuous circle.
Well, there are additional requirements. They have the port community system, which is more the business-to-business aspect that is to be integrated with ASYCUDA. That project is just being implemented, and we are working with the Trade Board and eGov on the single electronic window, or our e-trade system, to seek to automate now all of the permit applications, so that you can just go online, you will know which item needs a permit, and you can apply for the permit online, because some companies need 3 or 4 permits depending on their products. But there has to be predictability. And what we have found is that some ministries and agencies didn't have a comprehensive list. So we are working with them to have a comprehensive list, and at the same time we have to guarantee processing time. It can't be that an individual wishes to import an item and has to wait 2 or 3 months.
What we'll do, Commissioner, is to bring you back next week to talk more about the permit system, how one engages that, and when one needs a permit, as well as the customs bill, which is before Parliament at this time. Major Richard Rees, Commissioner at the Jamaica Customs Agency, giving us a lot of information about the benefits of the new electronic ASYCUDA system. A system which will help with the ease of doing business, a very important criterion for the World Bank, and a very important thing that investors look for. So next week, Major Rees will be back with us. We thank you for your company today. Until next week, Ian Bourne wishing you a pleasant day.
Yes, the heat is on. And as we continue to deal with the sweltering heat and dry conditions, parents, it's important to keep your kids hydrated.
Give them lots of water, lots of fluids if you can. Do some fun things. If you can either make some syrup with lime, lemonade, and freeze it. You can put popsicle sticks in there, and you have your children do it. And that can be a fun activity for them to do. And it's something that will keep them hydrated also.
Yes, on a free paper bun. But aren't you excited to wear all the new fandangles your parents bought? New shoes, bag, and fancy lunch kit. Bear in mind though, that these new school supplies are to create a comfortable lifestyle for learning, and not to palaver with pretty things while the brain is empty. Before I start preaching, listen now to an excerpt from the Education Minister's Back to School message.
It was Nelson Mandela who told us that education is the most important developmental tool for personal advancement, if you want to get ahead, you yourself, and for national development. And therefore, every child between 4 and 18 years of age must go to school on Monday and must stay in school. No child must be kept at home without good cause, and no school must exclude any student registered there except for cause as provided for in the Education Code. So tomorrow, approximately 1,000 public schools at the infant, primary, and secondary levels will open their doors to welcome almost 500,000 students. The Ministry of Education has already distributed school fees and other grants totaling $1.2 billion to schools, and has supplied them with most of their furniture needs, totaling 40,000 pieces to date. The delivery of furniture will continue during the first month of the new school year. The ministry is pleased to announce that 20 schools will be removed from the shift system starting tomorrow, and at least a further 12 targeted for removal later in this academic year. The elimination of the shift system will improve teaching and learning by increasing the teacher-pupil contact time. Every hour of class time is essential. We cannot afford to waste learning time because of lateness or indiscipline. This year, the ministry will provide free breakfast and lunch to 125,000 students at the early childhood level. It does take a village to raise a child, so we invite all well-thinking persons in the community, policemen, clergymen, community leaders, to ensure that all children are present when school is in session.
Cancer is that illness we all wish didn't exist. But the reality is that cancer is real. And aware that cancer care can be expensive, the Ministry of Health is implementing a number of programs to assist those affected by this deadly sickness.
The battle against one of the most feared illnesses is being waged. Government, along with its partners, is making the tactical advance against this condition, where abnormal cells in the body divide uncontrollably, with the ability to invade other tissues and spread to other parts of the body. Cancer has been one of the leading causes of deaths in Jamaica, leaving in its wake grieving families and many unfulfilled dreams and aspirations.
One full course of a particular drug for a particular kind of breast cancer, full course could run you anywhere between 3.2 million and 3.6. Each dose is somewhere over $200,000, and you require between 17 and 18 doses. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a prescription for poverty, and for many, family savings are wiped out by just one member having cancer.
Among the most common cancers diagnosed in Jamaica are prostate, breast, cervical, lung and colorectal cancer in adults, and leukemia and brain cancer in children. In 2010, 3,198 persons were recorded by the RGD as having died from cancer, but the Ministry of Health is working to cut that number and making strides. Decreasing the number of premature deaths from chronic diseases such as cancer is part of plans to reduce deaths from non-communicable diseases by 25% by the year 2025. Interventions include screening and early detection to spot the signs before the cells become cancerous. Vaccines are also used to lower cancer risks. Avoiding cancer-causing agents is also promoted. That includes making healthy lifestyle choices like avoiding tobacco, limiting alcohol use, eating a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, keeping a healthy weight, and being physically active. Government is taking a targeted approach in all areas.
I am now leading a charge that leads to a broad spectrum attack on cancer: prevention, screening, early diagnosis, treatment, rehabilitation, and palliative care. We will, on a phased basis, streamline the cancer care path and systematically remove the bottlenecks to effective treatment, including reducing the high cost associated with its care and treatment.
A national cancer registry is being established to ensure correct and timely data is captured for the entire island. An anti-cancer screening laboratory is also being established at the University of the West Indies, Mona, the first dedicated lab in Jamaica and the Caribbean. It will help identify treatment options and possibly a cure for the condition using natural resources available locally.
I look forward to us capitalizing on the wealth of natural resources that we have.
In the meantime, breast cancer patients can now access the breast cancer receptor test as a subsidy benefit given to National Health Fund NHF members. The test is offered at the University Hospital of the West Indies Pathology Laboratory. It involves testing breast cancer cells to determine whether they are hormone receptors or biological receptors, which are important information in making treatment decisions.
The NHF's coverage of breast cancer, of breast receptor studies, I beg your pardon, is timely and in keeping with the policy of the government through the Ministry of Health to improve cancer care delivery and increase patient accessibility and affordability.
The Health Ministry is also working with the Jamaica Cancer Society to improve mammogram testing and screening programs across the country. The fight against cancer also involves installing state-of-the-art radiation equipment and treatment facilities at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James and at the St. Joseph's Hospital in St. Andrew. At a total cost of nearly $14.5 million, both centers should come on stream in 2016.
This project represents one of the biggest investments in equipment and service for Jamaica that would move the cost significantly as it relates to the private sector down for the most vulnerable in our society to zero.
While that's in the works, the cancer ward at the Kingston Public Hospital has been receiving significant upgrading work with the installation of first-class equipment and 18 chemotherapy stations. It is run by specialists trained in the management of cancer patients.
The chemotherapy unit was furnished with infusion pumps. Infusion pumps are used to administer chemotherapy at a rate which is tolerable to the patients.
Audiovisual entertainment and other amenities are also installed in an effort to make the infusion process more tolerable. The improvements to the KPH Cancer Care Ward have reduced waiting time for chemotherapy and cancer surgeries and caused overall improvement in the quality of care.
The feedback from the patients has been incredible. Where we are at now is that there are no significant delays, especially for cancer surgery, that you are seeing almost immediately or certainly within 2 weeks, and your surgery is scheduled within either the next available operating list or within a 2-week period.
In late 2014, the country witnessed some landmark world-leading cancer surgical procedures.
We had one recently which was first of its kind cancer surgery, and that went very, very, very well. And also recently we had another neurosurgical, joint neurosurgical ENT procedure as well, which again was the first of its kind here in Jamaica.
From screening to treatment, Jamaica is witnessing phenomenal advances in cancer care. With the expertise of world-class surgeons and other professionals, the Ministry of Health is improving the health outcomes of our people.
Think on this. One good teacher in a lifetime may sometimes change a delinquent into a solid citizen. Words of writer Philip Wiley. I'm Theodore Henry, signing off for Jamaica Magazine. For more on the changes at Customs and other stories, click on our webpage, jis.gov.jm. We're also on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, so log on and stay in the know. Have a happy Sunday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.